Welcome into the Quick Points podcast. This is our second episode. I'm Pat O'Rourke. Alongside me is Alex Hirsch.
What's up?
Talking about baseball today. World Series ended, but obviously here in Boston, especially,
Baseball
season
never ends.
It's
Never
an
ends
ongoing
here.
season, and the off season might be more busy. There might be more attention paid towards the off season than the regular season itself. So, the first big development of the off season for the Red Sox was your boy Clay Buchholz. His option being exercised. What do you think about it?
As much as I hate Clay Buchholz, as much as I think he is incredibly soft, as much as I think that this guy does not belong on this team, I like it.
You like it?
I don't know how else to say it. I like it. It's a smart move. You're getting Clay Buchholz, who's a potential ace, has never really been able to be the ace because he's always hurt, which is crazy annoying. But he's never been able to be that ace, but you're getting him at maybe third man in the rotation price at $13 million and then $13.5 million next year. You really can't ask for a better deal than that. There's no reason not to do that. I think the one of the best parts about it would be that he's great. That makes him a great trade chip as well, which is why I want him, because I want him gone. I want him gone. I want him not to do with the Red Sox anymore.
You don't want to trade him for just
Not for just nothing. I want a good player in return, but I'm not sold we're gonna get a superstar out of him.
Yeah,
but I'll take.
But you don't
player.
want Bronson Arroyo for Willie Mo Pena. At least I don't want that.
I don't want Willie Mo Pena. I want I don't know. Give me like a. I don't even know. It's hard to think of.
It would have to be a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like a couple players.
Maybe a Kimbrel type.
Yeah, give me a good closer, or give me two really, really good young prospects, or give me.
I don't know about prospects.
Give me maybe a. I don't know. I would take like even a Shane Victorino in his heyday type player too. Like solid. Doesn't have to be your number 3 or number 4 power hitter, but he could be your number 2 or your number 5 or 6 that hits around 280 to 300 and can get you around 20 homers and close to 100 RBIs. Maybe an Alan Craig in his heyday type player. That all-star level Alan Craig. Gets me a potential all-star. It doesn't have to be a perennial all-star, but a potential all-star, I'll take that. But no, you're right. You don't want to trade him for just anything, but in my opinion, you want to trade him. You want to get rid of him. I can't stand him.
Here's the thing with Clay Buchholz. We've discussed this. The ace potential is there. He's never put it together. But when he does put it together, we've seen him put it together for 2-3 months, half a season. He's not put it together for a full season. But we know what his ceiling is, what he can do. And if he puts that together for a full season, he might win the Cy Young Award. And I want to see him do that here.
But he's also, what we've also seen is him be brittle.
He's got a $13.5 million option for 2017. Uh-huh. So you got, for all intents and purposes, you have him on the Ryan Dempster contract you gave Ryan Dempster in 2013.
Keep him for this year, maybe trade him next year. That's what I would do. I'm not giving him ace money after he hits free agency or anything like that.
As long as he has that very, very team-friendly control.
I would trade him next year in the mid-season
I'd trade him today if it was a good enough return.
It is a good trade, but most likely you keep him around for 2016. You get rid of him in 2017. But he's shown ace potential. He's also shown that he's more brittle than peanut brittle.
I don't disagree with you there.
It's ridiculous. This guy cannot stay healthy. A sneeze knocks him out, just like Sammy Sosa. He is weak. He is pathetic. That's what he is. This is not what you want out of your ace pitcher. He does not. He is not the epitome of what Red Sox want.
He's not built to be an ace pitcher.
He's not built to be a player.
I think a lot of it's
He's not built to be a shootman. He's built to be in the hospital.
I don't know if I go that far.
He's built to be in the hospital only. He's built to be a patient.
A high school coach.
He's built to be a patient is what he's built for. All right? It's so he's maddeningly frustrating. And I've talked about this the other day, and he is my comparison to Jeff Green on the Boston Celtics. Mm-hmm. I know you don't do cross-sport comparisons, but he is just so maddeningly frustrating because he can be so inconsistent sometimes. And while Jeff Green was inconsistent game to game, Buchholz is inconsistent year to year, and that's the frustrating part.
Well, it's been like a 2-year cycle where he's pitching great. He trusts his stuff. Something small comes up, turns into a bigger thing. Next year comes out. He's got that in the back of his head that, this previous injury. He's out there pitching tentatively. He gets lit up. Goes on the DL for
10 years.
Well, no,
I don't want any pitcher that's in his head all the
like
time.
A mental break
this
type
guy
thing.
is
He comes back and he's good.
weak-minded. He's weak-minded. I don't want anyone on the team that's weak. He's absolutely not a little bit.
Okay,
if a little bit is means a lot, then he's a little bit. But he is so weak-minded, and I don't want that out of my 1, 2, or 3. I'm sorry, that's not what I want. I don't want it on my 4 or 5 either. I just don't want him on this team. I like the signing. It's smart, but I really don't want him here. I like it because it makes him a potential trading chip. So, but he's not really the only. I mean, there's more to this rotation that needs help as well. The rotation has got it's overstocked right now. There's too many names, and they need more names that are going to be coming in.
What the Red Sox really need, they need that one top of the rotation stud type guy that they had in John Lester.
Is he on this team?
Got rid of him. I don't think he is.
He's not on this team, so he's player X. He's someone we need to sign.
Yep.
So then what we have on this...
That's the one player they're away from.
Right, he's someone we need to sign or trade for, but the one we've got on this team then is you've got Clay Buchholz, who's now going to be in the rotation if he's healthy, all right?
Yep.
You've got Rick Porcello, who's not going anywhere with that contract. He's in your rotation. Then you've got Eddie Rodriguez, who proved he could be in your rotation last year.
But he's probably going to struggle for a year.
Whether he struggles or doesn't matter. He's in your rotation. Starting opening day, he's in your rotation.
But in terms of being that, he could be that player X in 2 or 3 years, is what I'm saying.
Oh, he could be, but he's in your rotation next year, opening day.
Yep.
Henry Owens has earned his spot in the rotation after last year. So who's your 5th spot? If we think player X is going to be in there, then what happens with Wade Miley? What happens with Joe Kelly? And what happens with Stephen Wright as well? Stephen Wright, for when he was healthy, he earned a spot in that rotation as well. He was very good.
Well, I think Miley's probably the biggest candidate to get traded because of...
Thank God.
Well, because he has a very, very tradable contract. A lot of people would take on that contract for what he gives you, which is he's a big innings eater.
Which is nothing. He's not a big innings eater. He didn't even get 200 innings.
He's a very good 3rd or 4th pitcher.
No, he's a decent 5th pitcher.
He was around a 4 ERA guy.
No, he was around a 4.5 ERA guy.
Well, he was from May on. He was 4. He was at 4.
Yeah, not the season.
He gives you innings. They're not. He's not an ace. He's not going to carry your rotation, but he's a very good 3rd or 4th piece in a very good rotation.
I don't like him. I want him gone. I think he should be gone. He's this guy that he doesn't give you innings. He's supposed to give you innings. He didn't even give us 200 innings last year.
193.
That's not 200.
He was a start shy of. He was 1 start shy of.
It's not 200.
If he didn't have his bat in April.
He had a full season and he couldn't give us 200. That's what he's supposed to do.
I will take 190 innings.
I don't want him on this team. He doesn't make sense to be on this team because you need player X, so get rid of him. Trade him for a reliever. I don't care what you trade him for. Just get rid of him. We don't need him here. So then what happens to Joe Kelly?
That's the next question. What happens to Joe Kelly?
You know my opinion on it.
Yeah, I know you want him
as a closer.
You want him in the bullpen. You want him as a closer, which
I think he's perfect for. He's a 2-pitch pitcher.
He's definitely got closer
amazing
stuff.
fastball.
Does he have closer command? That's the big question.
Who knows? I mean, if he's just pitching one inning, maybe he does.
You got to throw strikes.
He does.
He doesn't throw enough strikes.
Well, he did in that last month, but
but even then, he was
unbeatable.
Yeah.
Though.
He was very good.
He was very good.
It wasn't like he was.
Give me 1 to 2 innings out of him as your closer. I'll take it any day. He is closing material. We don't know what's going to happen with Koji next year. If he's healthy, Personally,
if Koji's healthy, he's the closer.
See,
he's the closer until he feels.
I don't want him to be the closer anymore. I'd like him being the
Why
setup
not?
man.
I think the bullpen's better when he's the closer. He's been one of the best closers in the major leagues when he's healthy for the past few years.
But
I know
he hasn't been though. He hasn't been healthy. Even when he was pitching this year, he wasn't.
He's been fairly healthy.
Well, he wasn't good closing material. Good enough for me. He wasn't good enough for me.
I liked him. And I thought he was very good.
I'll take him as my setup man. And I'll take
Tazawa
Tazawa in my 7th inning.
I take Koji Uehara in the 9th inning over a lot of people, and that includes Joe Kelly.
I'd like to move towards the future and build, and I'd like to start giving Joe Kelly his opportunity. I like Tazawa in the 7th, Koji in the 8th, Joe Kelly in the 9th. That's what I like right there. Then I like Stephen Wright as your long reliever. And if he can make some spot starts if he wants. You know, his arm's not going to get tired. He's a knuckleballer. Get rid of the Robbie Rosses, the Tommy Lanes, the Joe Machis, all of those guys, Breslow, all of them need to be gone. We need new relievers. But just like we were talking about, just like the rotation isn't the only spot that needs help, the bullpen isn't the only spot that needs help, the offense needs work as well. Where are the spots on offense that needs work?
Well, the biggest thing is at first base. That's the biggest. It's not a hole right now. I think it's a concern.
Okay, Travis Shaw's there.
It's Travis Shaw's job right now.
Right.
He deserves a chance. He deserves a chance. It's 65 games, 13 homers, 36 RBIs. He really played at a 30 home run pace. So yes, he deserves to be the starting first baseman opening day next year. That said, again, this is something we talked about before the show. He screams of Will Middlebrooks.
Yes, he absolutely does scream of Will Middlebrooks.
But I don't think that's a fair comparison to make. I think you have to go off what he gave you in the second half of 2015. I think what he gave you in the second half of 2015 was very, very good.
I don't think he should be here. I know he gave you great stuff in the second half, but I sell high. I sell high on him right now. He screams at Will Middlebrooks. I don't want to take the chance of having him being another Will Middlebrooks.
But then if he's gone,
that's the risk you take. That's the risk you take. If he's gone, then you've got players on this team that you can move around there, or you trade for one. You sign a free agent, first baseman. You could move Pablo Sandoval there. You could move Hanley there. I'm willing to give that a shot. I'm willing to give Hanley a shot there. You could move Brock Holt there in the meantime as well.
Yeah. I don't think Brock Holt is in every.
He's not an everyday fix. He's not an everyday fix, but he's a fix until you find your fix.
I suppose so, yeah.
You've got plenty of options there. My biggest one would be move Sandoval over there if you're gonna keep him. If you're gonna keep the fatso, move him over to first base. Put Brock Holt at third base until you find a fix at third base, and then you can keep Brock Holt as your utility man that rotates and plays 3-4 games out of the 5.
Since we love our prospects, the big name that comes to mind for me at first base is Sam Travis.
You know, if we're talking prospects, the big name that comes to my mind is get Pablo Sandoval over to first base and send this Yoan Moncada guy right up the pipeline.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's ready yet.
Well, I don't know if Sam Travis is ready yet. Maybe Moncada is. Maybe
I don't think Travis
is
is ready yet either. He's only played half a season at AA. So
maybe Moncada moves on up. He's fast. I mean, we spent a lot of money on this guy.
Moncada's a stud.
I'd like to get third base freed up for Moncada. Yeah. I think if Moncada takes either second base or third base, and that's where he's going. And that might mean that he's Pedroia's replacement.
He's Pedroia's replacement.
That could very well be what he is. But that guy's he started to shoot up towards the end of the year. I mean, his arrow's pointing very high.
He had a huge
second half.
Huge second half. But again, this is in the Sally League. We're still got a ways to go.
But they need help at third and first base because Hanley or Pablo's got to go. One of them has got to go. And right now, they're kind of plugged in as your first and third baseman. So you need help at those spots because if one of them's gone, you got to figure something else out.
Yep.
So what are some of the options out there in free agency? We're heading into winter meeting. We're headed to winter meetings.
Like I said, Chris Davis is the big name.
Okay.
At first base, but again, I don't think he's a good fit for Fenway.
So,
big left-handed bat, but he doesn't go to the opposite field. He's more of a left-handed pull hitter. Mm-hmm. That usually doesn't work in Fenway Park. So I don't want Davis. Plus, I don't think he's the big power hitter that some people think he is. I think he's probably a little bit more of a flash in the pan type.
One name that's getting brought up in free agency a lot on the offensive side is Alex Gordon in the outfield.
Love Alex Gordon.
Yeah, you like this move.
Love him.
I hate this move.
Well, first off, the move hasn't been made yet.
Yeah, but if we make this move, I
hate
it.
He might not even be a free agent. I mean, the Royals have an option on him that can be picked up. So
I hate this move.
I like it.
Tell me why you like it, because I don't even see a point in it.
Well, first off, this outfield that you love,
yes.
And it was a very good outfield. They had a great 2 months.
Yeah.
Offensively, a great 1 month. Between Jackie and Rusney. I need to see more, Jackie and Rusney is at left and center field. I'm still not 100% sold on them just because I don't know how they can hold up over a full season. We know what Jackie Bradley is on defense.
We know what
He's
Rusney is
still
on
an unknown-
defense too.
He's still an unknown offensively. He had one good month.
I think you can say the both of them for a defense.
And
I think
Rusney,
you know Rusney's good at defense.
Before this season, Alex Gordon it was 161, 159, 156, and 156 in terms of games played.
And this season?
In those 4 years. So 162 game season, he missed I think
And then
top
this year,
6 games.
but this year he missed about 50
Rusney
games.
Castillo misses, if he can miss 6 games in a month, I would be happy. I mean, that's what you're expecting from Rusney Castillo.
We haven't.
I
I
need
don't.
guys that are going to be out there on the field. They can play out there on the field. They aren't going to have hamstrings. They aren't going to have groins. They're not going to have tight calves.
Gordon was down for 50 games this year. I don't want that. I don't see the point in it. You finally got an outfield that is producing the way you want it to produce. The reason why you gave Jackie Bradley Jr. all this time was to see that if he could be one of your outfielders of the future. The reason why you moved Mookie Betts from second base to outfielder was to see if he could be one of your outfielders of the future. He is now.
Well, Mookie Betts definitely is.
And then you've got Jackie Bradley there that has proven he is your defensive outfielder of the future if there was no such thing as offense. Rusney Castillo, the reason you paid him all that money was to be an outfielder of the future. The three of them clicked. They worked when they finally were playing together. This is like the first time they actually ever got to play together. When they finally did, it worked. Why are you messing with that? There's 0 point. Let it stay. Let it keep going the course. If it sucks, you've got Brock Holt. That's why he's on this team, to play there until you figure out a different option. I don't want to touch it. I feel like there's way more pressing needs on this team than fixing something that really doesn't need to be fixed yet. If it's not broken yet, don't fix it.
Like I said, I have concerns about having Castillo and Jackie Bradley Jr. as my big plans for 2016. I would not complain if they were my starting left fielder and center fielder on opening day, but I would have my worries. I'd feel a lot better about Alex Gordon.
But your worries
Castillo.
your worries are solely based on their at bats. All right, a team can afford to have two bad at bats on their team. A good team can afford to have 7 out of 9 good players hitting.
Yeah.
And we've got 7 out of 9 that should be hitting pretty well. So if Rusney, who at the bottom is
we don't know
floor
about
is
first base. I mean, first base is an unknown.
we should have.
What's Pablo going to give you?
We'll most likely have people hitting at least 250, and Rusney will be one of those people hitting 250. The question is whether Jackie Bradley Jr. could hit 200. All right, but they're saving you so many. They're saving you so many more runs than you're giving up. So it makes sense to keep them there. You can afford to have Jackie Bradley Jr.'s bad bat because you've got Blake Swihart, who has a good bat at catcher. So your crappy catching statistics are going into center field or left field or right field, wherever Jackie Bradley Jr. is playing.
Is Swihart
instead.
going to be the catcher next year?
Yes, he's going to be the catcher next year. It's dumb to think that Christian Vasquez is going to be the catcher. Vasquez is clearly going to be the backup. I don't want to get into this anymore.
Why don't you want?
Why don't I want? Because Blake Swihart earned his time. He's the catcher of the future. Everyone knows it. No, Christian Vasquez did not earn his time. He earned his time as a backup catcher. He was hurt for the year last year. Blake Swihart clearly superseded him.
He blew his ACL?
It's not his fault, but he got superseded. Just like in any other thing, like any other sport where Alex Smith, done for the year. Colin Kaepernick comes in, earns his time. He gets
this is a Wally Pipp, Lou Gehrig type situation.
I'm saying it to any team that a player goes down and someone comes in and does better. It's Tom Brady and Drew Bledsoe. It's every sport. Blake Swihart has earned his time. They're not taking him out of that.
I'm not saying Blake Swihart doesn't deserve to be the starting catcher in Boston or somewhere else.
No, he deserves to be the starting catcher in Boston. Christian Vasquez deserves to be his backup until Vasquez proves that he's good enough to come back, and then you have a potential great combination as catcher, or you have a trading chip. But you can't trade one of them yet.
I think Swihart could be an option at first base as well.
Well, that's a possibility.
With his bat.
That's a possibility. Maybe he could be an option at first base. I wouldn't mind seeing that. But I'm not sold on Christian Vasquez being my everyday catcher until he's back fully healthy. And in that case, then you have a potential trading chip.
Here's the big thing with Vasquez. This will be our parting before we move on. Month of September, we know how good Vasquez was defensively in 2014. Last month of 2014. So, kind of when you start to figure things out a little bit as a major league hitter. 277, 736 OPS. That's something I would take every day and twice a Sunday from a catcher.
Yeah, but you that's contradictory to your stuff about what you said about Jackie Bradley Jr. and Rusney Castillo, is where they picked it up at the end of the year too,
Yeah,
and you're
from
not
center field and
sold.
left
So what
field,
makes
you
you
want-
so what
you
makes
want
you
the
so
offense.
sold on Christian
Center
Vasquez?
field and left field, you want the offense. in most
Not if you're
positions.
but not if you're
catcher,
you don't
I
need to if your catcher's hitting well. And Blake Swihart
But
hits well.
I'm talking about with catcher. I need that. That's a defense first position.
And
You're
Blake
the catcher,
Swihart's
you're
defense was
controlling-
good.
You're controlling the defensive.
Blake Swihart's
the whole
good-
defense
his-
of the field. You're
his defense
controlling
was
the
good,
running
though.
game. You're controlling the pitching staff.
Sure.
That's what the catching position.
Swihart's
is all about.
position
It's not
was
about hitting.
he was good though,
about raking.
and Swihart was good at that. He wasn't
Yeah.
Christian Vasquez, but he was good enough to be a good starting catcher in this league. So therefore, your crappy offensive statistics can go into the outfield towards Jackie Bradley Jr., who we know is an amazing defensive outfielder and is not hurt, so isn't coming back off of an injury like Christian Vasquez is. We know what we're going to get out of Jackie Bradley Jr. And you could get something potentially even more phenomenal if he could figure out to have a consistent swing. That's way more for Jackie Bradley's upside on offense is way higher than Christian Vasquez's upside
I
on
wouldn't
offense.
say that.
Oh my God, come on.
I wouldn't
Are
say
you kidding me? Look at what Jackie Bradley Jr. did in a month.
In a
All
month.
right?
It was a month.
It was a month. And then look at what Christian
It was a month.
Vasquez did in a month. Whose was better?
Probably
No,
Bradley.
there's no. Yeah, Zach, thank you.
Bradley was a
There's-
little bit better.
Little bit better. Jackie
Okay,
Bradley
he was
Jr. was
better.
better than every single baseball player in
He was
baseball.
better. He was
He was
better.
way better. All right. If Jackie Bradley Jr. has that ability to do even half of what he did in that month, that's still better than what Christian Vasquez did. All right.
Yeah.
So yes, Jackie Bradley Jr.'s upside is way better on offense than it is. But his downside is way lower. Yes. Okay.
Well, yeah.
He's either going to be he's a hit or miss for you. All right. No pun intended. But so I want Jackie Bradley Jr. I want Rusney out there. Blake Swihart. Keep Christian Vasquez. I'd like him here. He's not a trade chip right now because you don't know how healthy he's going to be. Keep him until he's healthy. Let him play Ryan Hannigan's spot until he's healthy. Then make your decisions. Maybe then you start working out Blake Swihart at first base. Maybe then you could start thinking, well, should we trade Swihart? Should we trade Vasquez? What do we see out of if Swihart's improved his defense so much? Absolutely get rid of
Yeah.
Vasquez.
Well,
so
yeah, Swihart's improving defensively. I don't know if he'll ever be as good as Vasquez is.
We
I mean,
won't
Vasquez
know.
is one of the best. Vasquez, if he hasn't missed a beat, which I mean, I think a lot of the handling the staff and the whole controlling the running game, a lot of that's upstairs, which I doubt he's lost any of that.
But-
It's really the big concern is his arm,
Well-
and can he throw out? If he can't throw out 40% of the base stealers, and then I can live with that. But
handling the
But
staff
I-
is very important, and
Yeah.
that's going to
It's
be
most
even
important.
more important next year.
Swihart's improving, but
It's going to be even more important
Vasquez
next
is
year
improving.
because we're going to have a staff that needs to be handled.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a lot of young players and player X.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about who is player X. Who's player X? Who's the ace on the staff next year?
in free agency, there's three big names, obviously. You got David Price, you got Jordan Zimmerman, you've got Johnny Cueto.
Yep, you got David Price.
Your
That's
boy,
it.
Cincinnati.
That's all you want is David Price.
Yeah, if I were to
He's
choose
it.
one of them,
He's
I'd
it.
go Price.
He's it. That's who you go for. If you want Cueto too, fine. Okay, get both of them. I don't care.
I wouldn't go both of them.
I would go both of them. By all means, go both of them. Win us the World Series next year. I'm okay with that. But you want David Price. Price is the guy that gets you back to the playoffs. He's what you want. He's what you lost in John Lester. He's good. We assume it's what you lost in John Lester.
My big concern with Price is can he pitch in Boston? Does he have
That's
the
your concern
mentality?
with any person, though.
No, but
yes,
you-
there's
when
no
you-
there's no person
when
that
you-
can
when
prove
you
he
see
can pitch in
things-
Boston that hasn't pitched here.
When you see things, I mean, you're seeing it from afar. You see the mentality of these guys. You see the way they carry themselves on the mound, in the media.
Price
all
has
that.
proved he
And
can
Price
pitch in
is-
3 different markets. What makes you think he can't pitch in Boston?
Well, for one thing, the pitch in front of.
Detroit's a pretty big market for baseball.
Yeah, but it's not Boston.
It's not
Neither
Boston.
is
No
Toronto.
place is Boston.
Tampa Bay is.
No place is Boston, though.
Playing in Tampa Bay is like playing in the studio.
No one's disputing
There's
that,
more,
though.
There's
The-
more people watching in the studio than there is in.
But
in
there's
Tropicana.
no place is pitching in Boston unless you pitch in Philadelphia, really. That's the only place that can be comparable to Boston. That's the only place where your fans...
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
You have the ability to sign and keep this young core intact. That's what I like about Price. Price is the guy that gets you back to the playoffs. He's the ace you want. He's the ace you need. He should be able to pitch in Boston. He has pitched here multiple times. He's probably pitched at least over his career a full season in Boston. Maybe.
It's just
He He's good enough to pitch in
That was the
Boston.
big thing with me with Price is I don't want to give. And you're going to give him probably 6 years at 25 to 30 million a year for a guy going into his
Pay it.
age.
You've
his
got the
age-
money.
But going into
Pay
his
it.
age 31 season.
I don't care.
This guy's
Pay
going
it.
to be 35, 36 years old and you're paying him 30 million.
So
a
then
year.
what's your other option?
I'd
show
use-
me-
I'd go
show
to
me
trade
another
market.
option.
Trade market.
That's the worst option.
market. Why?
The dumbest option.
You got so many prospects.
But you need to trade in order to get the starting pitcher that you need on this team. You have to trade one of your prospects that is a core member of this team already. You can't just trade the only
No, I
one
don't
that you
know
could.
about
Yeah, there's only one player that you could trade that's not a core member of this team.
There's one player I wouldn't trade, and that's Xander Bogaerts.
There's only, but
And you really
Blake
have to
Swihart.
you really have to
but,
involve me with Betts.
but you're saying that Blake Swihart and Mookie Betts and who am I missing there?
I'd trade Swihart.
But they're core members of this team's future and right now as well. And you don't have to trade them by getting an ace. You can sign an ace instead of trading them. I'm not trading Swihart. I'm
I'd give
not
him
trading
Swihart.
Betts. I'm not
Swihart,
trading Bradley. I'm not trading
maybe
Castillo. And I'm not trading Bogart. It is so dumb to
How about
trade
some
any
of
of
the
those
pitchers?
guys.
How about some of the pitchers? How about Owens? How about Brian
No,
Johnson?
There's no point.
See, I would trade Henry Owens.
There's no point. Why would you break something up that's good? Why would you break that up when you have the ability to not break it up and just add to it?
How do we know it's good?
Because it's been good. We do know it's good. What we saw is good.
Few good months.
Few good months, and that's okay. From young players when they came up, from what they
Young
showed
players,
was good.
Young players playing for nothing.
But they
There was
showed
no
it was
pressure.
good.
There was no pressure to win. People stopped paying attention.
Oh
to
my God,
people
there was so much pressure though to perform.
It wasn't playing in the pennant race in Boston. It wasn't.
It doesn't, but they still felt
they had
pressure.
nothing to lose.
They still felt pressure.
You go out there with a team of these kids and they get off to another bad start. We'll see what happens then. It'd be much harder. There's a lot more pressure with a team. With the team we saw in August and September, there'd be a whole lot more pressure going into the season.
And with an ace on this team, David Price on this team ahead of them, as well as Clay Buchholz ahead of them, and Rick Porcello ahead of them, Rodriguez and Henry Owens as your 4 and your 5.
How about the bats?
You don't have to worry about that pressure nearly as much. That pressure is off their shoulders that you're speaking of. Why break this up? You're saying you'd rather get rid of a core piece of this team to acquire another core piece of this team rather than just acquiring a core piece of this team and getting rid of no one. That makes no sense.
I don't want to be paying a guy in his 30s.
Why?
25,
We
30
can
million a
spend
year.
money. This is baseball.
But yeah, you can spend money. Yeah, you can spend
This
money.
is baseball, and you can get out of it
Do they
too.
want to be the Los Angeles Dodgers? Does every team want to be
Why
the
the
Los
Dodgers
Angeles?
almost made it to the World Series?
The Dodgers have they've made it to the playoffs and they've got knocked out in the ALCS or the ALDS the last 3 or 4 years.
NLCS and NLDS.
They've never been a team where you say,
Well,
like,
that's
oh my
1,000
God, that's a team
times
that's
better.
gonna
You know
win the
how
World
much better
Series.
that is than we did the last 2 years? 1,000,000 times better.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So
But
I'll
I'm
take
talking-
that right
in
now.
Boston, you want to win the World Series.
Okay, but I agree, and I don't think
Going
signing.
to the ALDS, going to the ALCS.
There's a
I'm saying
difference,
that.
though. There's a difference because they're signing multiple players. I'm talking about signing one player. One player that is exactly what you need.
I'm not-
and you're not losing
sold.
anything else on it. I'm not sold on any pitcher in Boston. You're taking a chance on anyone you bring in. I'd rather take a chance on someone that you don't have to lose someone as well. I'm
I would
not
rather
giving
trade
up someone for
20
another.
I'd rather have a guy in his 20s than a guy in his 30s. Prime years ahead of him at less money.
And giving up a piece.
Yeah.
That's-
If you want
that's-
to get something, you got to give it up. You
As
gotta give
Tony
something up.
Maserati would say, that's stupid.
Oh, God.
STOOPID, stupid.
You make a higher pitch.
That's stupid. STOOIP.
That's better,
I can't
yeah.
even spell it. That's how stupid it is. All right, it doesn't make sense. You can acquire, win now, and build towards the future. That's what Dombrowski wants to do: is win now and build towards the future. By signing Price, you're winning now and you're still building towards the future. There's no better way to do it. That's what I think.
I think you want to.
No, there's silence. You had a pause. That was it.
You want to get something good, you got to give up something good sometimes.
But you don't have to in this situation, and that's the point. All right, that's the end of quick points today.
Alex tapped out.
I'm done with this argument. All right, that's the end of
Conceded victory.
quick points today. All right. I hope you enjoy it. Tune in later this week. We're gonna do our inaugural 4 and Out.
We're actually going to do it.
We're gonna do it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be a video piece. You can find it on BU News Service. It should be really good. 4 fast-paced arguments, then a quick prediction. All right, and it will be fast. With 4 and Out, it's gonna be about 4 minutes long. So that's the goal. Hope you enjoyed it today. Have a wonderful week. I'm Alex Hirsch alongside Pat O'Rourke, sports editor for BU News Service. Take it easy.
Have a good week, everyone.